Nothing like a first-time ever matchup between two programs in the second round of the FCS playoff as number 14, Southern Illinois, travels all the way to take on number 4, Idaho, in the FCS playoff postseason. Alongside Mike Trude, I am Luke Martin. What a start it was for Southern in the playoff last week, Mike. A dominating 35-0 win over Nichols. It was the first shutout in playoff history for Southern. But now they get to go see a familiar face, Jason Eck, who was the offensive coordinator at South Dakota State, now the head coach at Idaho. What a job he has done revitalizing that program.
He really has. And haven't we seen enough of the Jackrabbits in the last few years? Playoffs and games and all kinds of things. But Jason came in and just revitalized that program. He could run for mayor, I think, and win right now. Every move he's made along the way so far has been really good. Back in the playoffs again, hosting a number 4 seed. I mean, you can't get much better than that. And for the Salukis, a huge win last week, 35-0. They were expected to win, but to shut out an opponent in the playoffs is something. And I know the Salukis feel like this is not a second-round game for them. This is really a third-round game because they felt their playoffs began with Game 11 against Indiana State, which they won to get into this playoff system.
Let's look at Idaho. One of the biggest characteristics, of course, Coach Eck, why he was brought in as a head coach is what he did offensively at South Dakota State. And you look at his quarterback, Giovanni McCoy. Well, guess what? He's had an outstanding year being first-team All-League. But Jack Lane, who filled in for him against Idaho State, who, regardless of who they go to on Saturday, they're confident in both quarterbacks.
Yeah, and they should be. Giovanni McCoy, freshman year, won the Jerry Rice Award as the best freshman in the nation. Not too bad. And then you have Jack Lane, who can come in and go, oh, well, I can go 22 for 26 and for 270 and beat a team as well. Now it was Idaho State, but to do what he did, I don't know if it was last minute or when McCoy actually knew that he wasn't going to be able to play, but Jack Lane is more than capable, and both of them can run as well as pass the football.
Hayden Hatton, what a receiving target he is. You look at the numbers, he doubles their number 2 receiver in terms of receiving yardage on the year. So he's a favorite target from what you've seen of him. What makes him such a favorite target?
Oh, he's an All-American, probably a first-team All-American. And what makes him so good is, number one, he runs routes really well. He's about 6'2", 6'3", so he's a big body. He's one of those guys that can shade himself away from the defender and make the catches. And in what I've seen so far, every key situation passing down, he's the guy that ends up with the ball.
Let's look at their running back room. Anthony Wood, just 13 yards short of reaching the 1,000 yards. Nick Romano's been a little bit banged up, but still a very quality running back. They look like they have a 1-2 punch, just like how Southern believes they have some punches in their backfield.
Yeah, and both of them have been nicked up a little bit, Romano and Anthony Woods this year. Woods did not play in a game this year. Romano played in the Weber State game that Woods was injured for. Both capable running backs, different kind of running backs. Romano is more of an inside guy that can get those yards for you, although he can run as well. But Woods is one of those guys that gets into the second line, and he can take it to the house.
You look at their 2-deep, they have 12 true freshmen or redshirt freshmen within their 2-deep, which means number 4 team in the country with that many young guys, they're young for years to come. One of them who's been outstanding watching him on defense, Exree Alexander. Man, he is fun to watch.
True freshman, not a redshirt freshman, a true freshman at the linebacker spot. And they plugged him in early in the season, and he's done nothing but excel. Leads the team in tackles on the year as a true freshman. And you mentioned all of those freshmen and redshirt freshmen who are playing in their 2-deep. Are they a year away? Are they 2 years away? Hey, they're here right now. They're a 4 seed, and with Coach Eck involved, they think they can do some special things.
You see so many playoff games come down to special teams because so many teams are really balanced. And you talk about a lights-out kicker, Ricardo Chavez. He's arguably the best kicker in the country.
Yeah, he's hit it from 53 this year. He's 3 out of 4 from 50 yards plus this year. They have total confidence in him. And in the couple of games I watched, once they get across midfield, it's not like they change up their play calling, but if they're behind the chains early in those first 2 plays, they have no problem with getting just yards enough to make it viable for him to try a field goal, and he's been phenomenal this year.
Mike, these are 2 teams that are almost similar in terms of their attack. Both head coaches very aggressive on the offensive side. What is going to be, you believe, maybe the key and difference in this game that you're going to be watching?
I'm really curious to see Idaho's offensive line against the Saluki front four, front three, depending on what they're doing at the time. If Idaho's able to be two-dimensional the whole game, run when they need to, pass it only when they want to, they're going to be a really effective ball club. Now, the Salukis all year long, one of the best defenses in the country. They can stop the run. If they can stop the run against Idaho, then Southern's got a chance to make Giovanni McCoy just a one-dimensional guy and have success in this game. I think it's their offensive line against our defensive line that I'm really curious about.
You can join both of us late Saturday night with the coach, Pat Poore. Kickoff will be at 9 o'clock Central, so be sure to stay up late with us for some exciting playoff football for the first ever meeting between the Salukis and the Vandals. Until tomorrow, from the Kibby Dome, go Dogs.